Hello and welcome to the Thanksgiving dinner tier list. I was thinking of what to do for Thanksgiving, so what better thing to do is something that is very much related to the Thanksgiving holiday. I wanted to do this specifically because I feel like there's always like a specific image of what a traditional Thanksgiving dinner is. So I decided to pull up this that has a good variety of stuff. So what I'm gonna be doing is gonna be ranking all of these from God mode, great, to okay, maybe, and hard pass. But enough of this chit chat, let's get straight into this. Okay, so for our first one is going to be turkey. I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of turkey, especially for Thanksgiving dinner. I know that sounds kind of sacrilegious, but hear me out. I prefer eating turkey with something like a sandwich. Like I prefer eating a turkey sandwich rather than actually eating turkey in the Thanksgiving dinner. But because it is kind of the staple of the holiday, I gotta put it at least in the okay tier. It would be in maybe just for the sake of it being iconic to say the least. And I'll put it in okay for you turkey enthusiasts. Now pumpkin pie, this goes in God mode. I genuinely love pumpkin pie. I don't know how people feel about it, especially because recently I had some very not so good pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie, there's just something about it that has very distinctive taste that other pies don't have, which is ironic because we have another pie to talk about next. I just love the almost kind of sandy texture to it. It has a nice texture to it that I like, especially if you put a little bit of whipped cream on top of it. Cannot have a Thanksgiving dinner without at least some sort of dessert, and a pumpkin pie, absolutely the perfect option for that. Apple pie. I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm not the biggest fan of apple pie. To me, it's like a maybe. I don't hate it. Apple pie, to me, it's just not that incredible. There's some really good apple pies, don't get me wrong. Usually when there's apple pie, it has to have at least a good amount of cinnamon, because if it doesn't, then it just kind of tastes like a bunch of apple slices, but really, really warm. I'll put it in maybe. Like, it's definitely something that if it's on the table, I'll eat it with no issues whatsoever, but definitely I would prefer like a completely different thing if the option was there. Now biscuits, God mode. To me, you can almost make a sandwich, like a little mini sandwich out of anything. You can make a mini sandwich with turkey, with, I don't know, brisket, with some chicken, and you can even put a little bit of mashed potato in it to give it even a bigger kick to it. It's just so good. You can do so many things with a biscuit. You can never go wrong with a biscuit. Now, Brussels sprouts. I actually have no issues with them, though I'm gonna have to put them in okay. You know what? After thinking about it, I'm gonna put it in maybe. I don't hate it. Again, if it's on the table, I'll eat it with no issues whatsoever. But if it's not seasoned well, if it doesn't have at least a bit of a kick to it, I'm sorry, I feel like there's nothing really that special about Brussels sprouts if you don't like at least put some pizzazz into it. Now squash, hard pass. I'm not the biggest fan of like raw pumpkin and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'll eat a pumpkin pie every day, and I'll eat pumpkin in certain things, but if it's just kind of raw, I'm sorry, I can't. It just doesn't really appeal to me. Jelly cranberry, hard pass. I'm sorry. Cranberry in general is not that great to me. I guess cranberry is alright in certain things. I just don't see how that shit is like appetizing whatsoever. It just looks like a big old chunk of blob. Green beans casserole. This is another okay. I feel like it's one of those like vegetable-ish things that's the most tolerable to eat, like even more than Brussels sprouts and squash. Like at least green beans casserole, I feel like it's warm, and at least it'll be kind of like eating almost like a pasta to a certain extent. So that's kind of the reason why I'll put it in okay tier. Cornbread. I haven't eaten enough cornbread to really judge it, but I'm gonna put it in maybe. Again, just because I don't have that much experience with cornbread, that's not me saying that I don't like cornbread. But the few times I've had it, it's good. But again, I don't feel like I've eaten enough of it to really make up a full opinion on it, to really say if I would like at least say that it's great or would go in God mode. Just because the times that I have eaten it, it's been good for the most part. I'll put it in okay. Just for that, I'll put it in okay tier. Corn, God mode. I love corn. At least in that form. When you just got a big old piece of corn, just chomp at it. That is like the best feeling ever. It's very messy and you get very dirty with that kind of shit, but it's very good. Especially if it has a good amount of butter. Beautiful. I just love corn. Cranberry sauce. I'm gonna have to put it in hard pass. Again, the texture is this is just nasty. Again, it just looks like a big old bowl of purple goop, and it doesn't look appetizing at all. Creamed corn. I put it in maybe. because yes, it's almost kind of the same as cranberry sauce in a way, but I like corn. I like definitely corn more than cranberries, so I'll put it in maybe tier. I just would much rather eat just a full-on piece of corn rather than like creamed corn. Dinner rolls are great. Dinner rolls are kind of like the inferior version of biscuits in my opinion. They kind of serve the same purpose, but biscuits are a little bit more hard. Dinner rolls, it's more like just plain old bread. It's like a more dirtier, more nastier version of biscuits, but still great nonetheless. Like if dinner rolls were there instead of biscuits, I'm like completely fine. I'm still like, yeah, I'm gonna dig in no matter what. Gravy, I'm like gravy. This is probably an unpopular opinion of mine. This is like my hot take. I think gravy is kind of nasty. I don't like the flavor. I think it tastes kind of fucking awful, honestly. The thing about gravy is that I've tasted so many different types of gravy that it's becoming consistent to the point where I don't know anymore what is supposed to be the base gravy. What is supposed to be what a usual gravy tastes like? Because I've tasted sweet gravy, salty gravy, sour gravy, and it's just a big old fucking mishmash of confusing flavors. And to me, honestly, none of them work. So gravy is gonna have to go in hard pass. I'm sorry. Okay, now for ham. I'm gonna actually put this in grade. I actually prefer to have ham more than turkey. Mac and cheese. That's going in God mode. I love a good mac and cheese. My dad makes a bomb ass mac and cheese. He makes probably one of the best mac and cheese. I am just salivating to just start digging into it because it's fucking amazing. Goddamn, you could never go wrong with a great, amazing mac and cheese. Mashed potatoes, God tier. If you're gonna have any potato related thing in your Thanksgiving dinner menu, mashed potatoes is like the one thing that should be there guaranteed. Red wine. I haven't had enough wines to really judge it in a lot of detail, so I'm gonna put it just in maybe tier just for the sake of, if it's like some ordinary red wine, I'm be like, whatever, it does the job alright. Roasted vegetables, I'll put them in great tier. Why? Because I actually like vegetables, at least certain vegetables, and especially if you roast them, put some salt, some pepper on them, you can never go wrong with some nice roasted vegetables. That's why it's going in great tier. What is this? Scalloped potatoes? I think that's what it is. I'll put that in okay. I feel like scalloped potatoes is almost like an inferior version of mashed potatoes, so that's the reason why it's going in okay tier. Mainly it's because to me I would much prefer to have just the normal mashed potatoes, but scalloped potatoes, I have no beef with them. I'm okay with them. Sparkling juice, God tier. I love me sparkling water. I know everybody's gonna hate me. I'm that one weirdo that could literally grab an entire bottle of sparkling water or mineral water and just drink it by itself without any other flavor whatsoever. Yeah, I'm that weirdo. Leave me the fuck alone. Stuffing, hard pass. I legitimately do not understand how people actually like stuffing. That thing looks so disgusting and tastes so gross as well. There's a lot of foods out there that don't really have the best looks, but make up with it with the flavor. Stuffing is just that thing that looks ugly, it looks gross as shit, and it tastes gross as shit too. Sweet potato casserole. This is just a maybe. Again, it's one of those dishes where if it's on the dinner table, I'll eat it with no issues. You already have like better versions of like potato dishes in a way with mashed potatoes and even scalloped potatoes. That sweet potato casserole is just like going a little bit too far, man. I don't really go crazy for it, so that's why it's going in maybe tier. So that was my Thanksgiving dinner tier list. I'm trying to see if I would move anything at all. No, you know, I think I'm pretty satisfied with what I have right here. What does this have to do with me and our Thanksgiving dinners as a family? Well, let me just say that all of this means absolutely fucking nothing because we usually never have most of these things at our Thanksgiving dinner. My family is not traditional like this when it comes to Thanksgiving dinners. I've gone to Thanksgiving dinners where they do have like the more traditional stuff like this, so that's kind of why I decided to make this. We're not really that traditional when it comes to like our Thanksgiving or even Christmas dinners, so all this that I just did for you guys meant absolutely fucking nothing. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. What do you think of this tier list? Do you agree with it? How do you organize this tier list if it was up to you? Leave it down in the comments. I really want to know what you guys think about it. And like always, good day, good night, and stay safe.